Good morning. I was looking in the refrigerator this morning and I realized that the plum seeds were starting to mildew on the outside, so I decided to take care of that today. What I'm doing right here is breaking the shells of all of these plum seeds. I don't know how well you can see this. Probably not very well. I haven't figured out how to make this thing actually to go horizontal. Maybe that'll work? What do you think? Okay, well, we will try it. Okay, so these are the ones that I have already shelled. These are the ones that I still have to shell. Now, I'm using a vice grip, and it has been set to just slightly less than the diameter of one of these seeds. Now, if I just crush it, one of two things will happen. Either if I do it wrong, it will crush the nut inside, and if I don't, it will shatter and pieces will go everywhere. So this is the bag that I had them in the refrigerator. And okay, that needs to be narrower for that one. Let's try another one. Anyway, this is the bag that I had them in the refrigerator, and I'm just using it as a shield to protect the nuts from going everywhere. Okay, so this one, okay, that is, it may be viable, it may not. It's a little bit wrinkled, so I'm going to put it in this pile right here. These here, I believe, with that one, there's another one, I believe that this group here is viable and should germinate without a problem. This group here, some of them are very flat. That one probably won't germinate at all. This one is a partial. It's partially fat and partially flat. It probably won't germinate. That one, this one is another flat one. It probably didn't get enough time to develop on the tree. So it was probably picked early. Anyway, these right here are the ones that I think probably will not germinate, but I'm going to try them anyway. And let's do another one. Okay. This is a good one. Put it in that pile and dump out the shells. Whoops! I almost dropped it. Okay, let's try again. All right. Okay, I've lost a couple of nuts because I wasn't using the bag. Oh, this time the nut stayed in the bag. Okay, this is another good one. And it's actually fatter than a lot of these right here. So, all right, let's get those out of the way. Pieces of that shell. Another one. Okay. There's another good one. Now these are all different sizes, so some of them, this one actually popped but didn't shatter, so that's a, just pry it open, and there is the nut. Now this one is fat, but it has a very distinct line across it. So I'm going to put it in that pile, but it may belong here. Yeah, that one's too narrow. Put that one over there. And popped but didn't shatter. I don't know whether that's a good sign or a bad sign, but in the meantime, we'll take it. Okay, so there's another good one. Okay, and there we go. All right, now these two here are smaller, so I'm going to set the vice grip to a narrower, whoops, wrong way. Set it slightly narrower, and we'll see if we can get those. Okay, now this one's got a good nut, or it looks good, but it's a little bit dark. So it's possible that there may be something going on with that. But it's not an absolute. There are a lot of dark ones in there, a lot of light ones. And I don't think it makes a difference, but it might. Okay, and this one just popped. And we're going to break it open. Okay. All right, so the next step. Here we go. We're going to test something. I'm going to get some water. I'm going to wash my hands over here. And I'm going to get some water. Now, in theory, and I've tried this theory in other areas and other times, and it didn't actually work. What I did was I took apricot seeds and I tested whether they sank or floated before and after I had shelled them. There was no correlation between the shells sinking or floating when they had the shells on. And there was no apparent correlation between whether or not the seeds were viable, whether they sank or floated. Now, I'm doing this a little bit different because I'm taking this group. These are the ones that I think are not viable. So let's see if they float. Okay, so all of those are floating. It looks like one of them has a little bit of a droop. It's just hanging just a little bit below the surface of the water. Okay. Now let's take this group. Now these are the ones that I think are viable, and I'm going to see if they float. Okay, only two, you see it? Only two floated. And I'm still going to go plant those two, but this one is one of the ones that was seriously wrinkled, and I wasn't sure if it belonged in this group or the other group. But this one, that one that I thought looked odd and looked dark, it floated. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of these. Now these I will just push aside because I suspect that they are non-viable. We'll just let those go. And I'm going to take a paper towel, and I need a new bag because that bag had okay, so I'm going to take the bag and pour some water in. Just want enough water to soak the paper towel. I'm going to put these two in here. And I need to go, oh, it looks like another one has floated. Okay, so that one looked good, but it was floating. So I'm gonna, I did the sink versus float test, like I said, with apricots a while back, and there was no correlation between whether they sank or floated and actual viability. So I'm going to take these, take this group of seeds, that test I did was quite some time ago, so put them in here. And we'll keep them, it really doesn't matter, but I'm going to keep them a little bit separate from those 3 on the side, because these were the ones that floated. I just want to see if they germinate. Okay, and then I'm going to mark that and put that back in the refrigerator. And it is still October. Okay, so that is the plums. I'm going to put them in the refrigerator and let them continue to stratify. And then got the almonds. I've got, I'll do 1 or 2 of the cherries, because the cherries are actually an interesting test. Cherries, I have never had much luck with germinating cherries. And there are a number of different things that happen. I have had, and these are sweet cherries, not necessarily okay. So I'm going to take a look. Okay, here is the cherry seed. Okay, now you can see already that this, it's running away. It's really round. This cherry seed is wrinkled. It may still be viable, but it's also a little bit soft. So I'm going to set that aside. Those, I think I'll use the same bag. I want to show you a couple of things about the cherry seeds. That one was an older cherry seed. This is a new cherry seed from this year. This one was probably 3-4 years old, maybe older. But I'm going to take our bag. Okay. Now we don't want the vice grip so far that it will shatter the seeds. Okay, here is this is probably not a viable seed. It's wrinkled, it's flat, and it's just a little bit soft. So I'm going to set that one over there. When I've done cherries before, now remember, this one came from an old seed, this one came from a new seed. So, you know, where's the correlation? The newer seeds should be more viable, right? Theoretically. Okay, so here is another old seed, and this one isn't wrinkled, and it isn't soft, maybe a tiny bit soft, but it looks like it's a viable seed. When I've done cherries in the past, I've had a very, very low germination rate on the seeds for sweet cherries. And I suspect that the sweet cherries are so inbred that most of their seeds are not viable. Let's see if I can find, oh, there it is. Okay, so again, this is a new one. It's soft, and I suspect that that's not a viable seed. I've had very bad luck with cherries, with germinating cherry seeds. Like I said, I think that they are so inbred that they've got major genetic problems. And I can't prove it, but every time that I have gotten a cherry seed to germinate, it has had issues. Okay, now this one, okay, this is a new one. This is a new seed. And you can see that the cherry seed actually came out of its inner shell. So that may be viable, but it's not going to germinate very easily. Or it's going to rot far more easily than some of the others. When I've done cherries in the past, I have had cherry seeds, or cherry seedlings. We're moving on to seedlings. I have had cherry seedlings that came up without chlorophyll. I have had cherry seedlings that came up without seed leaves. I have had cherry seedlings that looked absolutely amazing and then died within a week. I have had cherry seedlings that got as much as a foot tall and then fell over. I have never been able to bring a cherry seedling to a point where I would consider it anything other than a seedling. Now, like I said, I don't know the reasons behind this, but I suspect that cherries are incredibly, sweet cherries specifically, are incredibly inbred. So you can see all of these are either wrinkled or soft. That one came out of its shell and it was also wrinkled and soft. These are harder. I suspect that these will be viable and these will not. But all of these came from the new seeds and these came from the old seeds. So whatever the circumstances are, these are cherry seeds. And I already put the plum seeds back in the refrigerator, but you can see the difference in size between the cherry seed and the plum seed. I will talk with you later.